Finally did it. After years of shooting on cameras that couldn't really keep up with my vision, finally upgraded. This camera that I'm using right now to record this video is the Zcam E2-M4. It's my first real cinema camera, and it's unlocked something I didn't really expect. Not just better footage, but a deeper appreciation for everything I've learned up to this point. What's up, fellow filmmakers? I'm George Jack, and today I'm walking you through my Zcam E2-M4 setup, how I rigged it for solo operation, and what this camera taught me about filmmaking in general. Now, this camera is a lot of firsts for me. It's my first cinema body, my first camera with more than 8 bits of color, my first camera that hits 60 frames per second in 4K. Actually, it goes up to 120 frames per second in 4K and 240 in 1080p. Now, this is also my first micro four thirds sensor. I've used full frames the entire time that I've been a filmmaker. And yet, my first camera with this much dynamic range, it's crazy. Now, why I waited so long? For years, I avoided expensive cameras on purpose. I didn't want to rely on the gear. I wanted to earn the right to use it. So I trained myself on older, substandard equipment, cameras that forced me to master lighting, exposure, and composition. Because that's the only way to make an image work in the end. Now that I have the Zcam, I can finally see what happens when skill meets capability. The dynamic range, the color latitude. It's like the camera finally keeps up with my eye. What makes the Zcam different? Let's talk about why this thing is such a monster for the price. Again, 4K up to 120 frames per second, 10 bits of color, 16 stops of dynamic range, and this modular cube design makes it so easy to rig, especially on the gimbal. Now, that jump from 8-bit to 10-bit is massive. I finally get to push my color grades without the image falling apart in post. No more banding in the skies, no more crushed shadows, just clean, flexible footage that holds. This is my solo rig build. Now, out of the box, the Zcam is a little cube. Amazing for flexibility, but you need to build it out for real-world work. I built mine around the tilt-to-focus record handles, each with its own focus wheel, so I could do handheld shots pretty easily. Both handles mount via NATO rails, so I could snap them off fast if I need to go handheld or switch to a gimbal. When I'm on a full production or jumping to a gimbal, I can hand off the focus control to the tilt-to-nucleus wheel. Now, that's the beauty of this modular setup. You can scale it up or down depending on the job. Lenses and mount options. Now, Zcam designed this body with versatility in mind. You can swap mounts easily. EF, PL, E-mount. Mine's the MFT mount. Or throw on a Metabone speed booster to get that full frame feel and extra stop of light. In fact, Zcam has their own, which is called the Turbo mount, which is their proprietary version of the Metabone speed booster. Supposedly, version 2 works really well. But me, I went a different route. I picked up a couple of Series Y lenses called Nightwalker with T-stops down to 1.2, and the results blew me away. The low light performance and depth separation are more than enough. I don't even feel like I need the turbo mount or Metabones. I'd rather master these lenses and eventually move on up to the Zcam E2-F6, which gives me full frame 6K. Now, what this camera taught me. This camera didn't make me a better filmmaker. It revealed how far I'd already come. Now, when you work with limited gear for years, you develop instincts for exposure, lighting, and composition, and you stop relying on the tech and start trusting your eye. So when I finally picked up a camera that can handle more dynamic range, more bit depth, and more frame rate, it wasn't about unlocking new possibilities. It was about finally seeing my skill unfiltered. If you're an indie filmmaker watching this, here's my advice. Don't rush the gear. Learn the craft first. Master lighting, exposure, storytelling. Because when your skill finally meets the right tool, that's when your work truly levels up. Now, if this helped you out, drop a like, hit subscribe, and let me know in the comments what camera you're shooting on right now. I love seeing what everyone's using to create. If you've got any ideas of what you want me to create for videos, let me know that in the comments too. Thanks for watching. I'm George Jack.